Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting stuff to go and talk about over here when it comes to PlayStation, when it comes to a big, massive mistake that Jim Ryan and PlayStation may have actually done, which may actually end up costing them a lot of money, maybe even potentially like billions of dollars, depending on how this deal kind of goes through. We're gonna go talk about this and talk about some upcoming drama too as well. Well, I'll probably have another secondary video up in like maybe a few hours or so be on the lookout for that one, kind of discussing even more of the big Xbox news too. There's been so much stuff going on, and as well, hopefully you guys don't mind my upload schedule's been on the weirder side too. We'll get back in the groove on that pretty soon. But when it comes to this type of stuff, we just have a lot of big news, so let's go and talk about it. So if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. If you guys want to follow, probably check out Exoprimal as of down below on Twitch if you guys are bored. We'll also have the How link down below for the Samsung pre-orders. If you guys want to go and check out and save $50 in pre-orders, no obligations needed. And of course, as well, the Amazon links. Let's go and dive into the video. So there's actually a really big deal that is ongoing that may or may not have really kind of done some really bad things when it comes to PlayStation. So, as you guys do or do not know, the Activision acquisition is actually going very well, and it does kind of seem like there's like a lot of back and forth right now, and it's all leaning towards Xbox's favor. Right now, it does kind of seem like the deal is pretty much allowed to go through. Like I said, we'll have another separate video kind of discussing on that right afterwards, which will be good because this has been a big news story, but at the same exact time, I am ready to go talk about almost anything else I feel like at this point. So when it comes to this stuff, we actually have a big throwout over here when it comes to PlayStation. PlayStation definitely was trying to go play a hard ball when it comes to this whole acquisition idea. The acquisition concept was, well, rough. Basically, PlayStation was kind of on the we're the big boys, it doesn't really matter if you get Call of Duty type vibes, but as well, at the same exact time, they were also not necessarily really negotiating, or at least from what we've heard, not really negotiating in good faith. And it's kind of a crazy thing because this actually may have cost them an even worse Call of Duty deal. If you guys remember, some of the initial deals were, hey, we're Xbox, we'll maybe give you guys a 10-year deal, a very similar thing that we have for Nintendo, or Steam, or Nvidia. And then maybe we can discuss on renewals, or maybe it's just that's it, or maybe we'll just go end up having the games only end up on Game Pass, or whatever it might be. So, in case you guys missed it, Microsoft says that Bobby Kotick, so basically the guy who like is running Activision right this second, who has also worked in private deals with PlayStation already, offered to extend Sony's Call of Duty co-marketing arrangement beyond 2024 in order to satisfy Sony's requirements on COD. But Jim Ryan, the PlayStation CEO himself, rejected and stated he'd rather regulators just block the Microsoft merger. Wow. So let's go to, I kind of break this down a little bit because there's a lot of stuff that's in limbo as of right this second. There is a lot. We're still seeing a lot of court documents. The deal is not 100% fully closed, but it's pretty much there at this point. And well, the one big thing to note is that there was a lot of offers on the table. Like, I do want to go and say it's kind of been like a back and forth. There's been some bad things on Xbox. There's been some bad things for PlayStation. But right now, this is actually probably one of the world's worst things I can see, where it doesn't even seem like he was really trying to fight for all this stuff. It might be a little bit on bias side too as well. But it kind of seems crazy to see that PlayStation just was like, hey, we could maybe talk some deals, but you know what? I think the FTC and the government and the CMA are all just going to say no. So why do I even want to bother kind of even offering these deals? And then also, if you guys do remember, we did see a lot of Jim Ryan talk, basically stating, hey, like, I'm not going to accept this 10-year deal. It's an instantaneous no. While other companies such as Nintendo and other companies such as even Nvidia and Steam were like, yeah, sure, you know what? 10 years. We didn't really have a proper contract in before. You're buying the place out. We could have just got nothing anyway. Yeah, sure, we'll go take this deal. Kind of almost in my mind, kind of a little bit of a humbler type style deal, which I do respect. Like, I respect those other companies being like, yeah, you know what? It's a freebie. We'll take it. We'll work with you. We'll make some good stuff happen. But Sony always has been kind of notorious because they are technically the market leaders and they do technically have the notoriety, but at the same time, this is kind of rough. So basically it says Sony also refuses to extend its Call of Duty co-marketing agreement with Activision, which is set to expire in 2024, which you guys already know. RX 00021 at 1. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick has attempted to discuss an extension of that agreement with leadership at Sony, namely Sony CEO Kenshiro Yoshida, so basically Sony itself, not PlayStation, but Sony, like the bigger head honchos, and PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan. However, Mr. Ryan refused the offer, saying he hoped that the regulators would do their job and just block the deal itself. And as you guys may or may not know, right now the deal is in an awkward limbo. Right now the deal itself is not fully going, like, it's not being blocked necessarily. Like, there is still a few court and issues as well, but it does seem like the deal's pretty much going through. Like, it seems like the merger at least will start being in the process, and like I said, we'll do that maybe a separate video. But right now, it's just nutty, because this is basically Jim Ryan, in my opinion, kind of dropping the ball, because if this deal does go through, this weakens all of their negotiations going forward, because it's kind of one of those things. Let's say, like, metaphorically, you have a buddy, and he's like, hey, man, I'm going to buy this laundromat. I don't know. And you have like a 10-year deal, like, or you have like a 5-year deal. You know what? Like, you're cool. You're my homie. I'll give you a 10-year deal. It's the same stuff. Like, it's going to be pretty much the same. You want to take it, I'll hook you up. And then your guy that's like has this deal, he kind of gets like yeah, no, I'm not going to accept that deal. What do you mean? There's contracts involved or whatever. Whatever you might want to go and say. This is kind of a really bad metaphor. You guys can make fun of me for it. But it's one of those things where it's like they kind of threw him a bone. Just be like, hey, like, we're going to try our best to make this deal go through. We can give you a 10-year deal, which in theory, like, we still win-win. If your gamers buy the game, we get a cut. If your buyers buy microtransactions, we get a cut. You may not make as much money or get early exclusivities or whatever it might be, but you want to know what? At least you still have it. Like, why not? Like, it could be worse. Like, it's not the world's worst deal. And then at the same time, you'd imagine PlayStation would be putting into other different games, such as like Killzone or other various other games out there that, well, would be good multiplayer games, or even try to maybe go foster more of like a Fortnite, or try to make some brand new IPs, or work with The Last of Us, whatever it might be. But it kind of seems like, no, they were like a little bit cocky and they just didn't want to deal with it, because this initial deal was set to expire as of this current year, and those same kind of current Call of Duty deals are like early access. You get the additional like characters or extra maps, or whatever it might be for the upcoming game. But right now, I think Sony was really thinking, yeah, like, this deal's not going to go through. You're going to have to pay $3 billion to Activision, aka Microsoft, and you want to what? We'll keep our Call of Duty deals or keep our Activision deals, and at the end of the day, who kind of cares? We still have more leverage, we have more users. But it does seem like right now this deal's pretty much confirmed as of this second, and this may have been a really bad mistake on the PlayStation Sony side. Now, we did still see offers publicly of Xbox still saying like, yeah, we'll give you the 10-year deal, but once again, we don't know if that offer is still on the table. Like, we do know that like Nintendo and Steam and stuff, they believe they signed the contracts. I believe they're set. They're like, yeah, we'll commit with you. We'll back with you in court. We got you. But as of right now, I don't think PlayStation ever has sat there and been like, yeah, we're going to do it. Like, we haven't seen it yet. So this might be a really big issue where PlayStation users, I would like to assume that Xbox would stand by, even on the sake of Jim Ryan maybe saying no and just hooking the consumers up, more so than the consumer base, but as well it also kind of incentivize them to want to be more on Game Pass and maybe do other various things as well to make sure everything kind of goes through. So it's kind of crazy to go and see. I would love to hear your thoughts, but I think it's kind of overall bad. Because I also even seen PlayStation saying like, yeah, we made, look at this, they made $1 billion from their deal from Netflix, while other studios are even struggling with money. This has also been kind of going viral as well. It does kind of seem like Sony does drive hardball, and they want to go make as much money as they can. And that's even for Netflix and Sony trying to work with these exclusive deals, because Sony is a big media company, and they do make movies and have IPs. But once again, it kind of seems like they're just like, let's get the best deal for our company, and not having enough wiggle room sometimes can go and affect your business. Now, I don't want to go and say they don't deserve it. They are one of the bigger game companies out there as well. It's also literally Sony. But at the same exact time, like, sometimes you have to be a little bit humble and kind of put in this 50-50. Because if you would have maybe lost PlayStation's, chance for Call of Duty and other Activision games, just from you guys kind of hulking out and waiting for regulators, that actually could be a really bad deal at the end of the day. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. We'll get a lot more information as time goes on. I'm going to hope that Call of Duty still goes and stays on PlayStation, or they could still work in a backrooms deal, maybe even with regulators. We'll have to go and see. Funny enough, we also had some funny news where Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which didn't need an SSD basically for the PlayStation 5, funny enough, does not even need a SSD over here for the PlayStation version. Some folks for PC version, a lot of folks are kind of making some memes on it, although once again, like, I think the game ran a lot better with the SSD, and you have a hard drive, it might be a little on the slower side. Kind of just goes to showing how well optimized, even like 2 or 3 years later, the game itself has actually turned out. So you got to give a really big thumbs up, although some folks are kind of making fun of it and memeing because you just don't need an SSD like everything else. Also, Naraka Blade Point was actually kind of a cool game. I did a few sponsors with this game back in the day. It's also coming to basically PlayStation as well, in case you guys are PlayStation users and you guys do want to go and check this on out. It's also a brand new PlayStation Store summer sale starting up as of July 19th. In case you want to go check that out, or once again, check out the Samsung links down below. Also some big stuff too for Santa Monica and Grillo Games win the Big Developer Star Awards for 2023. So major big congratulations to them. God of War Ragnarok got some awards, Hi-Fi Rush, and a few others as well also won some roles. Last but not least, we've been seeing a lot of drama for Genshin, who has apparently not even been paying their voice actors, which always kind of sad to see, especially with how much money Genshin makes. It kind of sucks because a lot of folks are, well, just not getting paid money. Like, a lot of folks are sad. Genshin people are getting called out, and kind of correctly deserved. You got to go pay the people the money that they're worth. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on, Twitter and Twitch room down below. Check out the How links too as well for the phone deals going on. And of course, appreciate y'all for watching.